What's up, everybody? Welcome to 40 Time. Because if we don't start, it's most certain that we won't arrive. I'm sitting here with Bob Wolford. He's an attorney at Miller Johnson. I've been knowing Bob for some years. His son Mikey Wolford was just on here last week. What's up, Bob?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Man, I'm good, man. When I was just telling you off camera about being discouraged about attorneys, and I'm like, I need to pick me up, so I got to call my man Bob to shed some good light on the attorney industry, especially here in Grand Rapids. Can you tell us, Bob, a little bit about the law that you practice and what got you into it?
Sure. Yep. I'm a corporate lawyer, so I work with businesses primarily. You would never want to see me on the inside of a courtroom, but I represent companies doing mergers and acquisitions, so companies like buying and selling each other, and then with a specialty on working with distressed companies. If a company's having financial problems, like I'll work with them and help them through that process.
For sure. One of your clients that you've had. It happens to be one of my favorite players of all time. You were working with, was it Tom Brady's father or was it Tom Brady? What were you working with TB12?
So we work in the work that we do. We have oftentimes when you're working with a large company, they have to get life insurance on key executives, and so those life insurance policies. Oftentimes you're getting a policy that is large enough to give the company enough money in the event that the CEO passes away. They have to go hire a new CEO and stuff like that. And so those are called Keyman life insurance policies. And one of the largest brokers of Keyman life insurance policies is Tom Brady and Associates. And so for many years, we've worked with Tom Sr. and the president of his organization, Matt McKenzie, who's they're based out of Palo Alto, California, and Boston, and Matt's very active in the concussion industry and does a lot of volunteering in that regard, and so have known and been friends with Tom Sr. and Matt for many years, and through that process have gotten to know Tommy, as they call him.
For sure.
And was able to bring him to Grand Rapids a couple years ago to speak at the Econ Club. And
if you ever do that again, I need to meet him. That's
we'll make that. But it was a real cool experience for him to come to Grand Rapids and get to meet the boys and some of the leaders of the community. We went back, I don't know, it was back when Tom was playing. The Patriots played the Lions on Sunday Night Football probably 5 or 6 years ago, and so Tom Sr. had us down there to go to the game, and we were supposed to meet Tom after the game, and so the boys and I were laughing because we're huge Lions fans, and it was probably the only time in my life that we've rooted against the Lions, because Tom Sr. said, "Now look, Tom is very
he's my guy. That's why he's my guy.
Very competitive, and so we should be able to meet him after the game. But if they lose, he may not be in the mood for it." And of course, the 3-13 Lions won that game, and so didn't get a chance to see him then. But we had some good laughs with him about that when he came to Grand Rapids. So.
For sure, when I remember watching an NFL story on Tom Brady back in 2011. I can't remember the name, but I can't remember it. But I just remember this like it was yesterday. And he was talking about how he kept falling in the draft. And he said, so finally, he said he's walking around the block with his baseball bat. And he's like, he's just talking about how he's just, his dad and his mom is there. And he said he got picked. He said when he finally got picked, he said he didn't care about what he said. He didn't care about where he got picked. And he started to break down and get emotional. He was just like, I'm just glad I didn't have to go sell insurance. You know what I mean? And it was just like, And so when you tell the story about his dad, I was just laughing because he was emotional. He was just like, I'm just glad that I never had to. He was like, I didn't have to go sell insurance. So I will never forget that, because at that time I was an insurance agent.
Yeah.
So it's just like, how did you become an attorney, and what drew you to the profession?
Yeah, it's funny that you asked that question, just because being an attorney was not something that, like, I don't really have any attorneys in my family, and I went to Michigan for undergrad and went as with the plan to be a doctor. Like, I grew up. I wouldn't say poor, but money was always an issue growing up for my parents, and was something that we stressed about a lot as a family. And so, going away to Michigan, my mindset was like, well, I'm just going to be whatever I see where people are making the most money.
I feel that. I definitely feel that.
And so at the time, like, I knew a lot of people who were doctors, and you would see that they were that they were doing well. And so I went to Michigan thinking I was going to be a doctor, and went through the first couple of classes in chemistry and biology, and realized, like,
this ain't it.
I wasn't going to be a doctor. And, like, a big part of it was I was grossed out by dissections and stuff like that.
That's kind of hard.
Well, how am I going to, like, make it through med school if I'm grossed out by the sight of blood or that kind of stuff? And so then I started, again, thinking about what I was, what other job could I get, still graduate in 4 years, and have a good financial prospects for my life. And so switched over to be a political science major, and took the law school LSAT my senior year, did well on that, and ended up going to law school. But it's something I talk about. I have 3 boys, as you know, and they're, I have 1 in college and 2 in high school. And it's interesting because as I was making those decisions about where to go to college and what to be when I grew up, again, the idea of doing something that I had a passion for was not anything that was ever considered. And, it was all about do what you're going to do to make sure you're financially stable, which I think is probably in many respects is a factor of growing up in that kind of environment. And one of the things that I've been, like, focused on as a dad is you got to find something that you have a passion for doing and focus on that. And one of the things I'm most grateful for is that I think all of my kids, who are all so different, they're all focused on, and you talked to Mikey last week, he's got such a passion and is following that. And I think you see people, my wife is a longtime teacher. She would do that for free. You know what I mean? She basically does do it for free now. She does it part-time. And they say if you find that you're doing something that you love, like, you never work a day in your life. And so, so that's been, and it's been interesting because as I started as a lawyer, it was, like, super stressful, just because of the fact that you're doing something that you don't really have a passion for. But as I've started to, like, when you start as a lawyer, you just are kind of pick a specialty and you develop that as you go along. And so this concept of working with distressed businesses and working with people that are buying and selling companies, really, like, I found that I ended up having a passion for doing that. And not because I have a passion for drafting contracts or being a lawyer.
Definitely wouldn't be that.
It really is fulfilling and rewarding to work through some people's most distressed situations and times when they have a ton of tension and uncertainty and fear, and being able to help guide people through that and come out the other end. And so that's really something that I'm lucky.
Yeah.
In the sense that, because if you're doing something that you don't like, it just doesn't work.
For me, in my life, I don't think it's possible for me to do something I don't want to do. Yeah. It was like, I understood that at a young age, and it was like, okay, so if I'm at square one, I might as well start it the way that I want to instead of starting it. And that was the biggest thing for me when in my younger age, was that, everybody had an opinion of what I should do in this. And my mindset was always, you guys have never done the things that I've done to get me to the point where I'm at right now. Like, you guys have raised me well. You've done all the things that you were supposed to do. But if I'm going to be able to look at my kids in the face, and I'm going to be able to look myself in the face, I can't worry about what makes you feel good or what makes you not feel good. Because going to a job that I don't feel anything for is going to make me come home in a shitty mood and put everybody else in that same type of vibration of just being angry. And I chose that. And although it's a million times harder, it's that much more fulfilling for me. So I 100% agree with that. I 100% agree. How would you describe your overall approach to practicing law?
Well, again, I think, I work for a big law firm that has 180 lawyers and does all kinds of...
Shout out to Miller Johnson.
Yeah. That, when you work for a big firm like that, you're part of a team, and so it's very, very similar to I played sports growing up.
Yes.
Figuring out where everyone's role is and fulfilling that role, and working collaboratively is an important part of having the firm be successful, but also serving clients the best.
For sure.
When when we do a transaction, when a business is buying another business, there's 15 different areas of law that are touched by that. So environmental law, employment law, tax law, real estate law, all of those things are implicated. You can't work on that alone. You need people that are experts in all of those areas. And so as a transactional lawyer, what I do is kind of oversee and quarterback that process and help with the negotiation and stuff like that. And so you really have to work as a team, respect everybody, and the other thing that I try to do, that I think, we were talking off camera, there's good lawyers and there's bad lawyers, and obviously
way more terrible lawyers than there are good ones, for sure.
Agreed with that.
For sure.
And in many respects, that's why for example, doctors, there's such a rigorous process you have to go through to become a doctor, and so many steps that you have to pass that by the time someone becomes a doctor, they kind of know what they're doing.
Yes.
There are a million law schools, good and bad. All you have to do is pass one test to become a lawyer, and you don't have to necessarily have any specific abilities. Which is why lawyers have a bad reputation, I think. But I think, at the end of the day, the other thing that I really try to do is recognize that, I don't know everything. I know a lot, but I don't know all of the facts and circumstances. Especially when you're talking about working with companies that are in trouble. You can come into a situation. A lot of lawyers come in, they think they know everything. They don't want to listen to the client. They don't want to hear the story. They just think this is what you need, and listen to me and do it.
You're right.
I think, you need to take a collaborative approach with your client. You need to recognize that they know so much more about the specific circumstances that they're dealing with, and something that they tell you can really trigger a thought of okay, well, that's something that knowing that makes it easier for me to help guide you through something, and I think that requires you to have a level of humility and openness that I think it's hard for a lot of people to have.
I 100% agree with you, Bob, because I'll just say, I'm not going to say their names, but I've had two attorneys.
If they're not Miller Johnson, go ahead and say
definitely. And it's like, oh, one was, and he got, but we gonna leave him out of this. We don't want to, but it's like they come into a situation where it's like you're showing me that you don't care. Like you're showing me that, like I'm telling, it's like if I know that there's an alligator in that room over there. And I say, look, I know you're this big. I know you're an attorney. I know you passed the bar. I know you passed your character and fitness. I know that you went through however many years of law school. But there's an alligator in there. And if you open that door, the alligator's going to bite your damn foot off. And if you feel like all your schooling and all your accolades can override me just understanding this one thing about, look, in that room, there's an alligator in there. And you open up the door and you get your foot bit off. I feel like that's how a lot of them come at it. And it's just like, I know this person that I'm in this case with. This person is going to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And if you feel like you don't need to listen to that, when they go do that, I'm going to hold you accountable for already knowing these situations. And it's like, I feel like that was the hardest thing in my dealings with these lawyers is you want me to feel sorry for you after I've paid you all the money that I have. Like, so first I pay you all the money that you wanted. You said this is the money that you wanted.
Right.
This is what we agreed on. You can't then, when you realize that you didn't just listen to the first couple steps. If you listened to the first couple steps, we'd have been done in 2 weeks. But you've prolonged it because you feel like you know better, and then you're not even spending the time needed to make this work. So now you got to go back, and now you spend up the money that I paid you. And you don't want to file these motions. You don't want to do these things because you spent the money and you never did the work. And it's like they don't realize, like, I had a lawyer that I had to be on, and you even helped me. Like you helped me write him a letter like, dude, you have to do your job. And when he finally did his job a month after he was supposed to, he wrote me back and said, now can you quit blowing me up? What? Like, what do you mean keep blowing? Like, I paid you to do what you said that you were going to do. And you know what I responded to him? Yeah, I'll quit blowing you up when you do what I paid you for. And right. You're going to do it because you haven't, I know what it's like for a lawyer to want to withdraw. You didn't withdraw, so you're still on this case. So it's just like, it's just hard because little things like that, like just not understanding how much somebody's life is depending on you just doing the right thing. Like, we already won. All you have to do is the right thing. And then when you don't, that person now you're long gone and I don't know where you're at. Like, I'll never see you another day in my life, but I'm stuck for 10 years to deal with you not working hard. And there's nobody that I can call. Like, I file grievances and all these things, but more so than not, they're going to always, it's like this weird club. It's like, okay, we know that lawyer is terrible, but they're a lawyer and this person is a civilian, so we got to side with the lawyer. It's just like, what is going on with the world? You know what I mean?
And I think it's interesting because I don't know if you and I have ever talked about this, but very early in my legal career, I was working on something, and the other side, they sued our clients, but they also sued me personally. Mm-hmm. And like when that happens, like Miller Johnson continued to represent our client, yes. But like we had to hire another firm to represent me in this lawsuit. And like I knew in that case like that I had not done it. I had done my job right. I had not done anything wrong. Yes. But I was being sued in federal court in Indiana. Yeah. And it scared the shit out of me. Yeah. And and I was a young lawyer. I didn't, and it's like, it was a great experience to go through because I got a chance to be the client and all the things you're talking about. Like, the lawyer that was representing me was at a big firm, and he did a good job. Mm-hmm. But like, what you recognize is by being a client is like, holy crap, this is like the most important thing going on in my life. In my life right now. And this guy, it's just
I'm one of 100 people. Like, and that's so hard for me. Like, that's so hard, Bob, because it's like you might be $1 million person, but this last $20,000 to $30,000, this is all I have to my name. So when I invest this in you, Like, I don't need you to be at my beck and call every single day. I just need you to do the job that you were paid to do.
Right.
And I think that's the hardest thing that lawyers don't understand, is that it doesn't give you this free pass to be like this arrogant. I don't want to point fingers at anybody, but it's just like I have gotten to the point where it comes to when I'm thinking about attorneys, like I have a civil rights case that I filed, that I've been working on, and they're like, you should try to find an attorney, and I'm like, they don't, like, I really feel deep down, if it wasn't for you and me and us having a personal relationship, and me knowing how much you care and how much you care about all the people that you knew before I even met you, I would really feel like the whole point of having an attorney is a scam. But I know that that's not true. And it's like I told you, I think I just got you on here just to keep me upbeat about this is checks and balances for a reason, and that anything that's being done wrong to you and your rights will be figured out as long as you keep fighting it. So it's like...
That's a lot of pressure to have a whole industry on your shoulders.
Man, but it is.
The other thing I will say about that, though, that I think, I don't think being a lawyer hiring a lawyer is a scam. But the one thing I will say, and I think you've experienced it, there is so much implicit bias in the judicial system and the legal system in general. And it's one of the issues. Like, to me, it's a big part of why I could never be a litigator.
Man, it's rough, Bob.
And
it is.
I have so much empathy for people that are having to, like, navigate a system where
it's not meant for me. Like, I had a referee tell me just on Friday that she talked to the judge. So first of all, this judge is who I'm supposed to be sitting in front of, because the referee told me there's nothing that I can do. I don't have the power to grant you the things that are in your right to do. She files it. So basically she sends it to the judge. The judge, a day before we're going into court, she adjourns that hearing, because in that hearing she has to deal with her words that she only said. Like, the things that I'm arguing, I'm not even arguing my words. I'm not even arguing the plaintiff's word. I am arguing the judge's words in transcripts, in court transcripts, that they said. Like, I have a judge that said, none of this should have ever happened because the concealment of this situation and the not telling anybody what your situation, like the circumstances, was detrimental to this entire case. So none of this should even be happening. That's what she said. I didn't say anything. Then 2 months later, this person rules against me, and I'm like, you're ruling against your own words. This is a Michigan law. Like, I didn't make the law up. Like, I barely know the law. If it wasn't for Google and the opportunity to be able to ask the right questions to Google, I wouldn't know anything. You get what I'm saying? So it's like when you say bias, it's like I've watched the judge tell a referee, and the referee feel compelled to say in open court that he's not credible. And I'm like, but you started off by saying that all of my motions and all of my evidence were the reason I keep recycling it. Like, so basically you're telling me you don't even care about the motions that I'm filing. Like, I know enough to know that the moving party is the person that gets to recite whatever they need to recite, whether it's wrong, right, or I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But you can't not let me get that opportunity. I know due process. I know the color of the law only because I've been dealing with these things. But it's like, I know for a fact that there are great attorneys, and I keep my faith in the fact that in the 25th hour that I might just get one that realizes, you mean all I got to do is just, he has everything. I have everything that needs to go. I just need somebody that they're willing to listen to. And I know you don't litigate, but I just watched in the hearing before me that the way that the referee treated the lawyer, the guy with the lawyer, and the woman who was only representing herself, the woman that was representing herself, although she was lying and not telling the truth, she got treated exactly like me. But when the lawyer spoke, it was like, okay, I can respect him. I can, like, and I'm saying the same exact thing that the lawyer's saying. So for me, it's more about just trying to find what I need to do, because I'm somebody that if you tell me to do A, B, C, and D, I am doing exactly that. And then if they tell me, all right, you got to go, I'm going to keep I'm gonna keep working at this to the point where I'm compelled to feel like I could say this openly. I think that I'm gonna go back to school, and since you said political science, I think I'm gonna change my major to political science and go into law school, because it has shown me so many different parts of myself that I didn't know existed. Mm-hmm. Like, I have an ex-wife that I helped put through law school, and I watched her fail her character and fitness for reasons that I should have had red flags before that, but I didn't. Like, I was a devoted husband that felt like they're not treating her right. But then as things unfolded, I understood. But I really feel like, just like how Mikey says, and just like you said, I am compelled to give people a voice that will not be heard. And if I am the person that walks in with the right credentials for this person who they feel is small and doesn't matter, then I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to create an entire movement around people being able to be heard, because it's turned into a shady business. It's turned into a shady business, but it's guys like you that help me keep having faith in the judicial system.
I really believe, like, whether it's policing or the legal system, until the white men start standing up and saying this is just not right.
Yeah.
That's what it takes, and again, that's one person at a time type thing.
Yes,
so,
it is.
The more we can.
Because for me, my worst enemy, I wouldn't want them to go through the things that I went through. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. And it's like, it doesn't hurt you to, and this is black men, white men, Asian men, whoever, stand up for what's right. And it's like, you'll get so much further in your life for just standing up for the right thing. And I feel like, it's like you said, like I say this all the time, is like, I don't care about being right. I just want to do what's right. Yeah. And sometimes me doing what's right can make me the villain. I don't care, as long as I'm doing what's right. That I can sit back in 20 years and go, I'm glad I stood on that. I'm glad I stood on business right there.
And I feel like that's really just a prophetic thing to say with what we're going through as a country right now.
Sure.
Like, I mean, when you see the so many people just not willing to stand up and say,
you just gotta say
this is not right.
For sure.
What's happening right now is not right. And whether that's for their own financial reasons or fear or whatever, like,
it's only going to hurt you in the end. It's only going to hurt you in the end.
There's going to be a lot of people that look back on history 50 years from now and say,
be on the wrong side of it.
I was on the wrong side, and I wish I would have had the courage to just say, this isn't right.
Exactly. And that's, that's the thing. And it's like, I try to do the right thing, and I try to stand up in my own life. If I got friends that are doing the wrong thing, then I can't associate with them. Even though they're my friend, like, sometimes I got to be your friend by not standing by you when you're out here doing the absolute wrong and being, just being a menace to society. So, I really appreciate you, Bob. I would love to create, and this is funny, but I would love to create Ask an Attorney type of situation where I can call on you like they call on the refs. What's Gene Serrato? What is his name? I can't remember his name from the NFL. Like, I could just call you in the middle of a podcast. So, Bob, we got this problem. What do you think we can do with this? You know what I mean? But I appreciate you, Bob. You've done a lot for me behind the scenes. I appreciate you always bringing Pete, bringing Mikey, and Tracy. I appreciate your whole family, man. Thank you for coming out, and I definitely will have you back on, and we can dive into some of those things that I feel like we can help people get on the right track as far as their careers, as far as what they're going through legally. I really feel like you could be a great beacon of light for people in that situation.
Well, yeah, I appreciate you saying that. If we feel the same way about you, the stuff you've done for my kids, again, I feel like, as a father to 3 boys, you need more role models for them than just yourself. And you're one that I know both of my kids that know you well look at you and have a ton of respect for you.
For sure. I appreciate that, Bob. And we out.